Hello folks, welcome to the Car Lease Deals of the month for June 2024. There are some fantastic deals in here. As always, we're starting off with the petrol and diesel and hybrid stuff, and then we're moving on to the EVs in the second part of the video, and they're just going up in price order in each of those sections. Please use the link to Lease Loco that's in the video description and pinned as the top comment. It's how I support this channel. And please give the video a thumbs up. Massive thanks to all the new subscribers on the channel from the last video, and really, if you're still watching this and not subscribed, which probably 70% of you there or thereabouts are, please subscribe. It's completely free and it really helps me to grow the channel, so please do that. It costs you now. Let's crack straight on. So we're starting things off with the Vauxhall Astra 1.2 Turbo 130 GS, £265 a month with 797 up front. In this video, by the way, apart from one deal, I think they're all 3 months up front, 3-year deals on 10,000 miles a year. 9.7 seconds to 62, 51.4 mpg, 130 horsepower, insurance group 19, and 422 litres of boot space. Average price on this has been £393 a month. The lowest price for it actually in the last year is right now £265.82. It's a nice car to look at. The performance is not too shabby. It's not going to cost you the earth to insure. Not a bad start. £265 a month with 797 up front. Then we've got the Nissan Juke, the 1 litre Dig-T N-connector DCT automatic. £271 a month and 814 up front. 11.8 to 62, 46.3 mpg and 422 litres of boot space. You'll see the hybrid version is only 36 quid a month more. I personally really don't like the hybrid. I would much rather have the petrol over the hybrid, so good news, I guess, that it's 30 odd quid cheaper. 271 a month, as I said. 333 has been the average. Pricing on this goes back to March when I guess the new model was released. It has been available for about 4 quid a month less than this, but this is still a great price at 271 with 814 up front. Next, we've got the Vauxhall Grandland 1.2 Turbo Ultimate trim, £276 a month with 830 up front, 10.4 seconds to 62, 45.6 mpg, insurance group 17 and 514 litres of boot space, which is a really good size boot in a car of its size. Price history, 276 at the moment. The average has been 458. Can you believe that? Nearly 200 quid a month more on average. At its peak, it was £634 a month. And again, actually, no, it's not the cheapest price it's been. It has been 5 pence a month less than this. But this is a very, very good price. It's in stock as well, so expect this deal to go fairly quickly. £276 a month and 830 up front. Next, we've got the Golf, and it's in match trim, which is a really nice spec to get in a Golf. You get things like sat nav, you've got rear tinted glass, LED headlights, etc. 9.9 seconds to 62, 115 horsepower, 49.6 mpg, 381 litres of boot space, and only insurance group 17. So that's a really good insurance group for a car with this kind of performance and practicality. 284 a month, 852 up front. Now the car's only been out 10 minutes, so on the 1st of April it was 498 a month. The average has been 303, the average since the 1st of April, and it's currently 284 with 852 up front. It's a lot of car for that kind of money, and it looks like a really sensible choice for not silly money. Let's have a look at a gap insurance quote on it. I don't know if you saw my video yesterday about gap insurance, but there's a link to it up there, and I'm also going to link to it at the end of this video, so as the video is going out it will pop up on your screen. Well worth a watch. This is something you should definitely have if you are leasing a car. In fact, if you're buying a car for cash, anything else, the price of gap insurance for the peace of mind it gives you is well worthwhile. So I'm just going to put in details here. I've said it's a lease. Very important you choose the right kind of gap insurance. If you're leasing a car, funnily enough, you buy the one for a leased car. It's brand new, you know, so no mileage on it or anything like that. Estimated vehicle price, it's going to be around about 27.5 grand. It's a Volkswagen. We're looking for 3 years of cover. We want to be covered for 2 grand for the initial rental, and the monthly cost is 284 quid. So it's £109.67 for 3 years cover. But it gets better than that, because if we put in the code GYM10, you're getting 10% off during the month of June. I don't know how long that 10% discount's going to last. It may drop at some point. Currently, for the month of June, ALA have agreed to give me a 10% discount. So that's £98.70 for 3 years of cover. Can you afford not to have that? There is a link in the video description, or of course, just go to alainsurance.co.uk and put that code JIM10 in, and it's 10% right across the entire site for the month of June. Cupra Formentor 1.5 TSI 150 V1 is next. £316 a month with £950 up front. I love the Formentor. I can't believe we don't see more of them on the road because it's a great looking thing. It drives really nicely. It's got a nice amount of performance and practicality. It all ticks quite a lot of boxes, and I'm always surprised that I don't see more of them around. 8.7 seconds to 62, 44.8 mpg, insurance group 19, 150 horsepower, 450 litres of boot space. £329 a month has been the average. We're just below that right now, but the key thing with this one is it's in stock, so you can get your hands on this car very quickly. £316 a month and £950 up front. Great value for money, I think. This is the Alfa Tonale 1.5 mild hybrid sprint automatic. £357 a month with just under £1,100 up front. It's a great looking car, the Tonale. I really do like the look of that a lot. 8.8 seconds to 62, 48.7 mpg, insurance group 28, 500 litres of boot space and 160 brake horsepower. £357 a month with £10.73 up front. And look at this, the average on it's been £526 a month. At its peak, £626 a month. Currently, £357 a month. That's a fantastic price on what is really a great looking piece of kit. You could do much worse than get yourself in an Alfa Tonale. And Alfa is a great brand to lease and sometimes an expensive one to buy, if you know what I mean. So leasing's a great way to go on a car like that. And look at this, the Skoda Superb 1.5 TSI Sportline Plus DSG automatic, bags of space, comfortable as anything. Loads of room inside, lovely thing. 9.3 seconds to 62, 41.1 mpg, insurance group 22 and 660 litres of boot space. 1,184 up front and 394 a month. And let's look at the price history on this one. The average on it's been £541 a month. At its peak, £665 a month. Currently, £394. Which, if you have a look down here, you'll see is the lowest price we've seen it in the last 12 months. This is another fantastic car that's available at a great price on a lease right now. Again, this is in stock, so do be prepared to have a look at this in a few days' time and for it to be gone. But at the moment, it's in stock, it's available. So use the link in the video description, have a look at this, click on the Compare Deals button down in the bottom right of the page. You'll see all the brokers appear. Make your inquiry and the job is done, as they say. A4 Saloon 40 TFSI 204 S-Line S-Tronic with the tech packs. This is a pretty much fully loaded A4 Saloon. It's the best engine to get. It's a brilliant automatic gearbox. 7.1 seconds to 62, 41.5 mpg, 204 brake horsepower, insurance group 31 and 460 litres of boot space. A lot of car for this kind of money. The average on it's been £511 a month. The highest price in the last 12 months has been £676, and this is the lowest price we've seen in the last 12 months. Currently £439.45 with £1,318 up front, and that gets you a brilliant Audi A4 Saloon. Brilliant build quality in these, like really rock solid build quality, lovely materials throughout. I sent one of these back with 70,000 miles on it, and it still felt as tight as it did on day one. It's a brilliant piece of kit. Strongly recommend the A4 Saloon, and at that price, it looks like a bit of a deal. Volvo XC60 2-litre B5P plus dark all-wheel drive Geartronic automatic. £516 a month with £1,549 up front. Look at the numbers on this. 6.9 seconds to 62, so you're not hanging about, even though it is big wagon. 32.4 mpg, 250 brake horsepower, insurance group 36 and 483 litres of boot space. 516 a month. Remember, at the moment, the average on it's been £594 a month. And the highest price we've seen in the last 12 months was £749. We've only ever seen it a quid cheaper than this. So if you're after a nice, big, luxurious Volvo, you can't go far wrong with this one. Still a handsome looking car. I know it's been around for a little while now, but it's still just a good car, a good looking car. It's in stock as well, this one. So again, be prepared for it to vanish at a moment's notice. Ah, wow. Oh, I'd love one of these. Yes, I would be compensating, and yes, I need to. BMW 8 Series Coupe 840i M Sport Automatic, £836 a month with £2,500 up front, 5.2 seconds to 62, 33.6 mpg, 333 brake horsepower, insurance group 44, and 420 litres of boot space. The average on this has been 987 a month over the past 12 months. At its lowest point, it was 819, so about 15-20 quid less than this. But at its peak, it was £1,280. It's currently 836 and £2,500 up front. It's a massively expensive car if you wanted to try and buy one of these. If you've got the kind of money to get yourself into one of these cars, you know, 800 quid a month looks a lot better than 1,200 quid a month, does it not? So there we go. Bags of performance. Looks like an absolute weapon of a vehicle, doesn't it? Check it out. I love the 8 Series. Then we've got another big BMW, a massive BMW in fact, the X7 xDrive 40D mild hybrid turbo M Sport Steptronic Auto. This is a diesel, I think it's the only one we've got in this video. 5.9 seconds to 62, 36.2 mpg, 340 brake horsepower, insurance group 50, and 750 litres of boot space, which is absolutely huge. And just look at it. I mean, this thing is a monster. Massive car, like really massive car. The average on it's been £1,289, and at its peak it was £1,528 a month, £1,500 a month. It's almost half that at the moment at 863, and unsurprisingly, 863 is the lowest price we've seen it in the last 12 months. Now, this one was supposed to be earlier in the video, but I've made a terrible error, it appears. This is the Suzuki Sways 1.8 Hybrid Motion CVT Automatic, £290 a month. It's Toyota Corolla Estate with a different badge on it. It's exactly that, no more, no less. 870 quid up front and £290 a month. The MPG in these is phenomenal. It's claimed 62.7 MPG. I had one in for a week on review, and I think I got 58, 59 in the real world without trying, and that was kind of mostly round town, so incredibly frugal to run. 9.4 seconds to 62, 596 litres of boot space, insurance group's only 17 despite it being a huge thing. Average price on it's been 355, at its peak 412, currently 290 with 870 up front. And then another one that got completely out of order is the Lexus NX 450h Plus eCVT Premium Pack. Lovely car. Build quality on this is as good as pretty much anything you're ever going to find. 6.3 seconds to 62. Daft MPG figure. It's a plug-in hybrid. It has got quite good all-electric range. I think it's about 50, 60 miles, something like that from memory. I could be wrong, so check it out for yourselves. 525 litres of boot space. Insurance group 38. 306 brake horsepower, 563 a month with 1,690 up front. The average on it's been 665. At its peak, it was £804 a month. Currently 563. Great car, won't let you down. Link in video description. Moving on to the electrics now, we've still got the GWM Aura. It's still around. One of my best mates has actually just ordered one of these on my recommendation. He told me his budget, told me what he was looking for, and he's actually saved about 100 quid a month for what he wanted by getting one of these, and he loves it, to be fair. £215 a month with 647 up front, 193 miles of range, insurance group 27, 228 litres of boot space, and 171 brake horsepower. They have finally got Apple CarPlay working on them as well, which Aura owners have been waiting for it to come through for months and months and months, and it's done now. So finally you've got Apple CarPlay. £240 a month has been the average. At its peak it was 314. At its lowest point it was only £1 less than it is now. It's £215.93 with an upfront payment of 647 quid. Now, Corsa E is a good alternative to the Aura. 222 miles of range, 136 horsepower, 267 litres of boot space and insurance group 24. 708 upfront and 236 a month. Average on that's been 455, unbelievably. At its peak, 766. At its lowest point, oh, actually, that's today, £236.33 with 708 up front. Peugeot E208 GT, 51 kilowatt hour, 5-door automatic, 309 litres of boot space, insurance group 31, 156 brake horsepower, 248 miles of range, and a 0-62 of 8.2. £602 a month has been the average on this. It's currently bang on half that price. At its lowest point, it's only been £2 less than it is right now, and at its peak, it was 725 quid a month. Currently 301 with 903 up front. And I would guess plenty of you would agree with me that it's the best looking small EV on the market. I mean, it's a fantastic bit of design. It looks great. It's got decent range, decent performance, reasonable boot as well for this category of an EV. 301 quid a month, not bad, until you look at this for only £3 a month more. You haven't got quite as much range, but it's a much bigger car with a bit more boot space and a bit more room generally. It's the EC4 E-Series automatic, 221 miles of range, 136 horsepower, insurance group 23 and 380 litres of boot space. 0-62 is 10 seconds in this one, 914 up front and 304 a month. I know lots of you that watch the channel actually got one of these about a year ago when they were on a deal. It might be longer than that now. And I've heard some really good reports from quite a lot of you. So that's always nice to hear. 618 has been the average over the past 12 months. At its peak, 737 quid. I can't imagine they leased one car at 737 quid. But it was the price at some point anyway. At its lowest point, £304.79, and that is right now. £304.79 is the lowest price it's been in the last 12 months, and the upfront on it is 914 quid. Here it is if you're not familiar with the EC4, so good looking sort of mid-size crossover hatchback kind of thing. Ride quality's generally brilliant in Citroens, and that one is no different. Mocha E, 310 quid a month with 931 up front, 209 miles of range, 136 horsepower, insurance group 21, 310 litres of boot space. 535's been the average on that. At its lowest point, it was 5-6 quid a month less than it is now. At its highest point, it was 772. That was 310 with 931 up front. Then we've got the Cupra Born. So this is perhaps the younger brother to the ID3 because it's a little bit younger, a little bit livelier, a little bit 328 quid a month with 984 up front, 264 miles of range, 385 litres of boot space, 204 brake horsepower and 25 is the insurance group. 0-62 on that 7.3 seconds, £392 has been the average over the last 12 months. 484 at its peak. It has been 20 quid lower than this. It was 308 for a short spell. It's currently 328 a month. For me, if it was a choice of the ID3 or the Cupra Born, it would absolutely be the Cupra Born every time because it's just a wee bit more interesting, I feel. It's a far more sensible car. It's the Honda EMY1 Elegance, 69 kilowatt hour automatic, £396 a month with just under 1,200 up front. Price history on this, average has been $550 a month. At its peak, $841 a month, and it did dip to $324. It looks like probably for a day, in all fairness, but it was there at some point. £396 a month at the moment with 1,200 up front, 256 miles of range, 204 brake horsepower, insurance group 39 and 361 litres of boot space. Been mixed reviews on these. I haven't actually had one in for review as yet, but there have been quite mixed reviews. My buddy Alex that I do the Charging Status podcast with actually quite liked it, which seems to have gone against most popular opinion, but he quite liked it. VW ID5 is next, the Tech Pro, £435 a month with 1,300 up front, 326 miles of range, 174 brake horsepower, insurance group 28 and 549 litres of boot space. Average on that has been 543 over the last 12 months, and at its peak it was 746. That was pretty much exactly a year ago today. Its lowest point, by the way, is today. £335.04 is the best price we've seen in the last 12 months on the ID5 Tech Pro. 1,300 up front, 435 a month. And then if you want the slightly bigger brother, which is weird because of the numbering on these, it's 442 a month with 1,300 up front. Much of the rest stays very, very same, or at least very similar. Price history on that one, 512 has been the average, 889 at its peak, 432.18 at its lowest point, and it's a tenner more than that right now. Next, we've got the Nissan Ariya. This is the one with the big battery, and it's got the Sky Pack. It's a tiny bit more than it was when the deals first broke on these a month or two ago, but £457 a month with 1,373 up front. Still looks like great value for what is an exceptionally good car. 329 miles of range, 242 brake horsepower, insurance group 34, 408 litres of boot space, and 7.6 seconds to 62. Average on it's been £590 a month. As you can see, the pricing's been sort of steadily going down, but with some peaks and troughs along the way. At its peak in the last 12 months, £782 a month. At its lowest point, it was 433 for this particular spec. It's currently 457 with 1,373 up front. Advanced, you're getting tons of spec on the car. You've got that big battery pack, really good range. It charges fairly fast. You know, there's not too much to dislike about this car. It feels head and shoulders above everything else in the Nissan range at the moment, in my personal opinion. Next, we've got the VW ID Buzz, 150 kilowatt Life Pro, 77 kilowatt hour automatic, 1,500 up front and 493 a month, 258 miles of range, 204 brake horsepower, insurance group 31, and 1,121 litres of boot space. 667 has been the average over the past 12 months. At its peak, 801. At its lowest point, 487. And it's currently 5-6 quid more than that. It's 493 with 1481 up front. 0-62 on that one's 10.2 seconds, which is not too shabby for a vehicle of its kind. Bags of room in it, ginormous boot, nice thing to drive, and they look the business in my opinion. I think it's a great bit of design. 493 a month with 1481 up front. Ford Mustang Mach-E. This is the premium rear-wheel drive automatic. £535 a month with 1,600 up front. 372 miles of range. That's right, 372. 402 litres of boot space, insurance group 41, and 294 brake horsepower. Look at the history on this, and it's again been quite up and down. There were some crazy deals for about 3 minutes about a month or so ago. So it's currently 535. Average on it's been 723. At its peak, it was nearly 1,100 quid for this car, this trim. It's insane. At its lowest point, which as I said was a couple of months ago, when was it? 25th of March, it was 454 quid. Currently 535 with 1,600 up front. Just going to whiz over this one because we've seen it enough lately, but it's the Genesis GV70. I've said many times before, but I think it's an absolutely brilliant car, one of the best cars in its class. 627 a month with 1,800 up front. And then finally, we've got the Audi e-tron GT. This is the Quattro 93 kilowatt hour automatic. This is the big brother of the Porsche Taycan, the Toyota Taycan, Porsche Taycan. 887 quid a month with 2,663 up front. 0-62 in this one's 4.1 seconds. 303 miles of range, insurance group 50, as you would imagine. 530 brake horsepower and 405 litres of boot space. Nice rapid charging in this car. The average on it's been £1,000 a month. At its peak, £1,258 a month. And currently, the lowest price we've seen one in the last 12 months at £887. Folks, please, if you want to go to Lease Loco to look at any of these deals, or indeed just have a click around yourself, please use the link in the video description. I always say it, but I literally cannot keep these lights on without that support. And please subscribe to the channel. As I said at the start, I'm trying to get 50,000 subscribers. 70% of you watching this at least are not subscribed, so please do it. It's completely free. Give us a thumbs up while you're there. And now go and check out this video about gap insurance. It explains in detail why you should seriously be thinking about gap insurance. That example quote we've done in this video is less than 100 quid for 3 years cover, and it could save you thousands if the worst happened. Please go and check it out because I really think it's something you should have. Catch you on the next one.